Hi, and welcome to my debate wrap-up video um, on social media is not ruining childhood. That's the position that we took, and my partner Amy and I really enjoyed doing this project. Um, Even just the whole project itself was great, and the way we connected and created wakelets and talked and put together our video and those type of things. So if you want to see our video, it's here. One thing about our video, we used WeVideo for that, and she did some of her clips, and she sent them in to me, and then we were able to use the green screen feature and put it in. And I think it turned out not too bad. I think we had some more time, and we could have got together. It could have looked even a little bit more sharper, if that's or just sharper. I guess I shouldn't say more sharper, but it would look better. But I still really liked the content that we have, and I liked in our thing that we had a good mix of research with the stats and the numbers that are validated inside of our research, but also um, the case studies. I think the case studies are really important to actually see students that are doing great things. That is not only helping students better their own childhoods, but other childhoods, and in fact society as a whole. So you can definitely see that it's not ruining childhood. There are challenges for sure, not going to say there isn't, but definitely I think there's so much potential here, and there's so many cases that it's not. I think it was also important, and we added this in our resources, to what is social media. If you take a look at it, it's just, I think people just concentrate like on Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok now, especially when you look at this and how kids are interacting it. But social media is actually a lot bigger. So you can include things like YouTube and how you can learn using YouTube and go back and forth with that piece of social media, or even something like LinkedIn. I think we forget that that's social media, and kids can already start to brand themselves and build their portfolios and that. So a lot of jobs will ask, well, what kind of experience do you have, or that type of thing. And then you could use for example, some of your social media posts and show all the work that you've done. So I think it's a great experience for students to be able to uh, you know build up their digital identity, put it out there, grow upon it, and it will not only improve their own childhood, but it will help them in adulthood too. And I think that a lot of companies and those type of things are Googling, and not Googling, well, that's a previous debate, but they're looking on social media through Google, perhaps, and they're seeing what comes up. So students can improve their childhood by using social media effectively, and then can lead into adulthood. So these were our two suggested readings. The first one here, 10 examples on the positive impact of school. That was picked by my partner Amy, and it's just a great job. And I picked a top 10 list too, because I reached out to someone on my PLN, Jennifer Casa-Todd, and I looked through her blog. And just to take a quick look at it, you could just kind of see, um, you know, this blog was based on 10 reasons why they don't need social media, but she did such a great job of basically dispelling the myths and giving counter arguments and doing that. So I hope people had a chance to look at that and really take a look at some of the data that she had, um, and seeing that, a lot of these times when we're against social media, it's out of panic, and it's just because we just don't understand it, instead of giving alternatives and embracing it and becoming educated ourselves and doing that. So I like this last point here. Do any of us, especially start? She was, would have, even especially with her teaching career, which might not involve childhood so much, but I definitely know, me personally, my adventure on social media has definitely made me a better teacher, and I've met so many people. And I think that if we can start that when you're young, and you can start to branch out and meet people, I think it's important. Again, I love this little graphic. Adults are shutting down opportunities that are meaningful for young people out of a moral panic and a response to technological and cultural change. So, I think it's so amazing. And that one thing I did bring up, and I do have a link to this too. You can purchase her book. Uh, it's not like $10 on Kindle, which I think is more than fair. I've read it and I've done a book study on it, and it's absolutely amazing. So if you're looking for a good summer read, uh, and if you want, let me know. You can join our. I know we're going to have our RCSD Connect program. We're having a book talk on it. So if some of you guys get that and you want to join the book talk, I'm sure we could pass you the um, the hashtag and you can get in on it. Again, here, this is just a few. I know I missed a few, but I threw a couple of the youth profiles in here, once again, to show specific examples of kids doing amazing things because of and using social media. One of the highlights, definitely, as part of our research and our interviews, and I was talking to Nancy in our class, Nancy Smith. She's amazing. This is a link to her book, and I really liked her perspective on things, and because she comes up from a lot of different views and perspectives, because she's a mom, she's working with social media all the time, she's part of this class. She really brings a unique perspective, and her book looks fantastic, and I'm hoping to get my hands on a copy of it because I know she's done a lot of work, and so I definitely respect and appreciate Nancy's opinion on anything to do with social media for sure. But even in this class, it's definitely been a win through these classes I've had with her. And then there's a link to Jennifer Cassis Todd, social media. If you go in there, there's a lot of great resources and reads and backs up a lot of the things we're saying. Inside of our Breakout EDU, you can actually, if you read the book, you can do a Breakout EDU based on social media, which is pretty cool if you're looking for some PD and that kind of stuff. So I definitely say give Jennifer Cassis Todd a follow. This was kind of a neat. This is one of our student profiles, Olivia Van Luschke. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. And now she's 12. When she started this, she was even younger. So talk about not ruining a childhood. Here's a young lady that harnessed the power of social media. I know I've heard a little bit more about her story, and she was bullied in that, and she turned the whole thing around with her mom getting on social media and sharing what she was doing. And now she's an author at age 12. I'm pretty sure that's not ruining her childhood. It's really cool what she's done to, promote reading and movements and connecting kids. Um, it's just outstanding. And one thing that was really cool that we did was we did a Twitter poll, and we were happy with the results we got in terms of, like, look at, we had like almost between the two of us, we had almost 200 replies in a few days, which is good. And people were talking about it and giving some great information through it too. Um, but it just shows you the power of social media and the PLN. You can take a look, and there a lot of good comments with it too. And you can take a look. There's Amy's poll, so you can see people still kind of in fear of it overall, but some great, just some really great replies in that. One of the ones that I liked the most and we used in our video was that it seems like every generation is thinking the next generation is ruined. So that was kind of interesting. Again, we included some YouTube videos. Like, there is Olivia; she's doing TED Talks, for Pete's sakes. Like, that's amazing. You got social media from Smart Social. Again, if we harness this power and help students figure out strategies, how to use it rather than just kind of let them, be on their own. Um, the possibilities are endless, and we can take things to another level. So we did include, I think, connecting for good. Like, we did include some of that. Podcasts. Shout out to Amanda in our class. She did a great interview, great podcast with Jennifer Cassis Todd, and we could have just played this podcast and listened to it, and I think we would have won, just based on the great questions Amanda asked and the great responses that Jennifer Cassis did. I totally would say not only give this one a listen, but I'd say check out Amanda's great work. She did one with Dr. Ribble too, so a lot of us are referring to the 9 stages. You want to check out what's going on. There's Mike Ribble. I think he's a doctor. Maybe I messed up on that, but if you take a look at this podcast too that she's done, it's totally amazing, and I would totally say, hey, give it a listen. And kudos to, and that's one thing I've loved about this class, to see people grow and try new things. And Amanda's podcast has just been just fantastic, and you can also listen to her on Voice Ed Radio too. Speaking of podcasts, myself, Curtis in our class, and another student that we've had, a lot of you guys know Mateo from other previous classes, we did a great interview and talk with Nancy. Again, if you want to take a listen to it, Nancy's perspectives are amazing. I'd totally say take a listen. She really gets into a lot more detail of why it's so positive and how we can harness it and why we need to teach it and grow with our students and with our own kids in this medium. Definitely would say that to take a gander at that. And then even our other guy we had in our video, Daniel Dion, another student from the program. Great people in this program. He does a great job. We had a great talk with him too. So if you're sitting in your backyard, just getting some sun or doing some laundry or some housework and that, put in some earbuds, and I'd totally say join our conversation and take a listen. It's definitely worth your time. I really do believe that. So we have more research that we've take a look again when we're trying to figure out our articles. Benefits and risks, were really good. Talking about the age they grow up too fast, those type of things. So there is a ton of work and a ton of information out there that you can definitely take a look out to do that. 5 reasons you don't need to worry about kids using social media. And that's from Common Sense Media, which was something interesting because I know that our esteemed opposition used a lot of stuff from Common Sense, but I think if we use our common sense, that social media can definitely be good for our kids and to help them out. And again, how the parents are key to this. How do we help that stakeholder understand that and see what works for them and their family and how they can build that relationship up with their own you know sons and daughters to be able to understand how they're using social media and use it effectively. Um, so definitely, I would say take a look at that, and you can follow Common Sense on Twitter. Even through some of the research, these are previous blogs from other students that have taken ECI, and they gave us kind of a little bit of a groundwork about what was for and what was against, and those are really important. So again, a lot of times when you guys write, when we write our blogs, we wonder, well, whatever, right? But they do help not only us right now, but they do help future classes, and that too. Be able to get some research and a start on these topics so we can delve even farther into that too. So I do believe, and that's part of my next one, that we need to be open with this and share, and sharing is caring for sure. Put in a couple of infographics here to take a look at. I think sometimes I like infographics. Pictures, sometimes say more words than just talking. So you can definitely be able to see on this one here. Oops, maybe oh yeah, I know I had to scroll down a little bit. Again, you can see the power of infographics here and different things. I know it's something I would like to do more with my own classes and do that kind of work. But you can see this is the one I was looking for. Look at this. If you can't beat them, join them. Look at the stats and what kids are using. Um, 59% say that students use social. That's pretty good. They're using it for educational purposes. They're talking online about things. You know, Students are on. How do we look at this, right? It's helping with schoolwork. All these different things. Doing pen pals. Like it's not ruining. We just have to figure out how to harness it better for our students. And again, I give a lot of shout out to our opposition, especially their video was outstanding. I love their take on it and using the narrative and the story to get their point across. And I thought they did a fantastic job. And they did a great job of researching too. And you can see all their counter arguments, which made a lot of sense. Yeah, there's cyberbullying out there. I'd argue that bullying was there before. One point I would make with this is that I think it was there before, but a lot of times people were just told to suck it up or keep quiet about it in the past. So maybe we didn't know as much was going on. I think social media, just like in other issues that are happening in our society today, is putting things out there. Yeah, it's really making us think a lot more, and I think that's why you hear a lot more kind of having on, about things because I saw bullying back way before social media, and I saw a lot of kids, that were affected by it. You go and you help and you do your best and not be a bystander, but a lot of them just kind of said, well, that's okay. I'll suffer through it or whatever. And we know that's wrong. And I think social media is helping bring issues like this to the forefront more than ever before, which is really positive. So I think it's helping more kids than bullying more kids, because I don't think this, like, bullying this didn't magically appear. And now people have an outlet. We talk about an argument they had, which was really good, is they definitely talked about the mental health aspect of it. And again, too, I think we just know more than before, and it's out there before. Uh, Things were happening, back in the day. Like I said, when I was going on, you wanted to, whatever other people had, people tackling each other. For my example, I said it was like Cabbage Patch Kids or Tamagotchis or, Beanie Babies and all that kind of stuff, because they wanted it and it affected their mental health and that type of thing. But kids were always kind of looking for affirmation and people to talk to, and sometimes they didn't have anywhere to turn. Now with social media, right, you can find that tribe that you're looking for. You can find that support group that didn't exist before, and kids couldn't access. So I really think that, yeah, people are using things, but people were addicted to things before. And I really thought too, I know they talked about emotional things, but there's adults that really sometimes, I'm not sure if their front cortex has evolved the way they do it. So we have a chance when students are young and the kids are young, while they're, impressionable in that, to really help them understand how to use it better and increase their mental health and increase their use, rather than shut it down and they are going to learn on their own or whatever. And sometimes when adults get it, I know a lot of adults my age and it didn't grow up with social media. Um, you know, they might not know how to use it the right way, obviously, too. So I think to put social media as ruining, uh, children's childhoods, I think is pretty. It's kind of a cop out in some of the ways too. Um, Another thing they talked about was fear of missing out, and I kind of addressed that too. We've always had fear of missing out. There's always been uh, that adage, keeping up with the Joneses and having what other people want to. Even when you look in a magazine and stuff from before, you had a certain body image and that type of thing, which goes with mental health and the fear of missing out too. That type of thing. So people were exploited before. There were a lot of biases that you couldn't check before too. Definitely written from one perspective, and that type of thing, that nowadays with social media you can get a lot more. So I definitely think it's not ruining childhood in that way too. So again, I really like what the opposition did here, though. Great organization, that, like, the great points to think about. Lots of opinions. I know they used the being 13, um, and the disadvantages of that. But I really think that, again, they did a really nice job of, and I think it's easy with this, with playing on people's emotions, because that's what really influences a lot of things too, right? But I think if you stand back a little bit and take a look at the bigger picture, yeah, these things are out there, but they're not going away. And what are we going to do to make it better? So those are my thoughts. My post recap. I hope you find this interesting. And I'll put a link to my esteemed partner Amy's blog. So if you want to do a little bit of reading to go with it, but I thought a little post debate talk would be very good for this. And I would really like the thoughts and the whole style. So thanks for watching. And yeah, let me know what you think.